Hey everyone, Just Ride Snowboard channel. I'm Lars Horstman and I got super lucky recently to go shooting some groomer photos here at Fernie Alpine Resort with local photographer John Canning. He crushed it, did a really good job. I love the images and I got a turn sequence out of that shows quite nicely an edge change from heel to toe in a pretty dicey, tight spot. Which, you know, he picked to get a cool photo. And I figured I'm going to share some things here with you about body position and timing and such, because I think it is much easier to see in a photo sequence where I can just skip back and forth than in a video that is playing and there's motion and you have to like focus on all kinds of things that almost get blurred, right? So I'm going to start firing off the sequence here so you actually get an idea of what I'm talking about. All right, just an explanation of the location. I am in Curry Bowl at Fernie Alpine Resort. This slope up here leads straight up to Polar Peak. And the base of my board is basically facing the bottom of Polar Peak chairlift. So when you come into Curry Bowl this way, the run down here is called Curry Powder, and right above Curry Powder main section, this run splits. It just goes around this section of trees. And John, the photographer, figured it would be a cool shot if I did a toe turn right in front of this tree. Now, the run here that I'm on, or the section of this run, is pretty narrow. And the other challenge about it is too, this here is basically an uphill. It goes uphill to where I am right now. And there's like a double fall line, as in there's fall line towards the tree, but there's also fall line down this run. And in order for me to execute the heel turn here, so I can set up for a toe turn, I had to basically come up this hill here on my left, halfway on my toes, change edges as I go up the hill, pull this heel turn pretty tightly because right in front of me, like right in front of my base, right here in the out of the image, obviously, there's another tree, which is where John is standing in front of. And yeah, my philosophy is I don't want to fake turns. I always want, if somebody wants to shoot a turn, I always want to come out of a flow. I don't like just setting up for a single turn. First of all, it's unnatural. And then secondly, if you do get a sequence, well, it's kind of like you can't do anything with it. And also it's a bit fake. So I really want to make it happen that I came riding through the section that the photographer was shooting. So here I am on my heels and I am basically just about to enter the apex of the turn. This is like I had to edge really early to get the board high on edge right up here so I can actually pull across this run here to do the toe turn. And this is just about before the apex of the turn. Now, next image. You can see two things that happen here. In order for me to get the board higher on edge, which I am, you can see how the board gets tilted more. It starts in the feet. This is my riding philosophy. So what I'm doing here is I start pushing out my front knee. And some people think that it's bad technique or it's wrong or whatever. What I think is it makes total sense because by pushing out the front knee and bending my back knee more, I am rotating my pelvis more. And that means that my left butt cheek gets away from the snow more. And that means that when I tilt my board higher on edge, I'm not limited or less limited by my own butt. And this actually also, this whole position here, that's a little bit more Japanese surf style. I can bring in this image here of a Japanese guy real quick. Love this thing. I think it's an Andrew Milner or Miller, the Jones photographer. I think he shot this, I'm not quite sure, but yeah, epic shot. So anyhow, I think what you can see here very well is you cannot really get into this position in a duck stance. You cannot twist, or maybe you can if you're really flexible, but let's say it's less efficient. That way I'm not offending anybody. It's less efficient to bring this back knee this far around if your back foot actually points backwards, and then getting your hip into this position with your back foot pointing backwards, I doubt it. So I find it more efficient in my double positive stance to get this hip out of the way. And the other thing that you can see here is what my shoulders are doing, what my chest is doing, my torso. When I go back to this shot, to the other photo now, to the next photo, I'm coming forward. I'm hinging forward from the hip, like there. And I'm almost like trying to reach towards the outside of the turn, to this area here. With my hand, I'm really straightening that out. I want to get mass out of the turn by pinching this outside hip. So here we go, next shot. Here you can really see what my back knee is doing. I'm really pushing this forward, and I'm really trying to rotate my pelvis to the left to get it away from the snow. And you can see how this hip is really stacked super well above the board. So this is all working out pretty well. I'm just from here to here, there's not much happening. I basically just feel that I have the grip and I'm in a good position, and I let the board do its thing. What I am trying is I'm staying forward. I'm leading with my chest. You can see the rotation here in the hip or in the upper body, however. And I am staying in this position. I stay rotated. I stay open. I'm still looking at this tree. Like literally every fiber of my body is saying we're doing this heel turn to the left. That's important. Board is really high on edge. Now something happens here that I actually don't aim for. I'm touching the snow with my butt. I think in this case, in this turn, that was kind of inevitable that was going to happen. Because I really had to tighten this thing up. My front hand is kind of just brushing through the snow, but I'm definitely getting some good butt contact here. My personal philosophy is every ounce of weight on my hands or butt or knees in a toe turn should be on my edges. So as much as it's fun to brush through the snow, I really try to not put weight onto my hands. Yeah, I don't know. It's just my philosophy and another little challenge that adds to the fun. So here you can see something that is kind of important. I'm starting to straighten out my back knee. This is the beginning of me starting to stand up. What is helping me to stand up is the force that I carry with me down the fall line. So the momentum of this turn is at this point still pushing me more down the fall line, right? It's my board in the snow and what I do with my feet that brings the board around. But really the energy is going down the hill. And that never stops. Like if I did wipe out right here, I would be sliding down the hill. So there's momentum down the hill, and that is what magically helps me to stand up, initiated by slight straightening of the knees. So in order for this to happen, this hand needs to stay down. I need to stay hinged here at the hip, hinged forward. So here you see it, right? Boom. Magic. It just happens. It's simply the momentum that is still going down the hill. But I find it always quite cool when I think about, man, I get out of such a low heel position into such a low toe position, and seemingly nothing happens in between. It looks like, yeah, I'm being pulled on strings. Not being pulled on strings, it's just the momentum down the hill. So I stay hinged forward because I don't have much time to straighten out. I've been talking in other videos about the phase in between turns. This here is pretty hectic. The phase between turns is like bish bash bosh. I gotta get on my toe edge now. So the way to do this, the only way to do this is knees. I need to bend my knees to tilt the board on edge. So everything always starts in the feet. Can't emphasize this enough. So my upper body is already ready to cross the board and go to the inside of the toe turn. That's where my mass eventually has to move. And here I start moving my knees. Because I have so much energy coming out of this turn, the board just gets airborne here. Pretty cool to see. And here come the knees, bam. So there's not much change in my upper body. And what you do see in between these two images is actually that already here I'm a bit hunched, right? In the next image, you start seeing how I want to keep my chest out of the turn. I'm trying to keep this portion of my body up high so I can drop this portion down. You can see it more here. I do hardly anything here, but I start pinching this hip, pinching the outside hip, and I'm moving this arm up, and this left arm, I'm moving it down, and that serves this leveling of the arms, this balancing a tray type exercise that they used to do back in the day. Very efficient thing to do. Keep your hands in front of you and keep them level. So again, here, knees, 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 knees. And those knees help me to push my hip across the board to the inside of the turn. And here we go. Now I am really pinching the outside hip, and I'm really trying to create a curve here almost in my body to get this shoulder out of the turn. I want this mass out of the turn because it will just drag me down. Knees are pretty much together. I'm starting to push this right knee forward so it sits kind of next to my left knee, and that will help me with rotating my hip forward, and that helps with moving it to the snow. So I think this is kind of the money shot here. You can see how my shoulders, like this hand is actually moving down. You can see how I really try to keep my shoulders level, how I have this curve in my spine that helps me keep my chest out of the turn, and I want to move the hip, my inside hip. That's what's entering the turn, really, what goes to the inside of the turn. Edge angle is super high. Here I'm pretty much getting my knees in the snow. Now, in the next image, that's where something happens that I haven't figured out yet, but I'm losing my pinch here. I'm dropping into the turn. That's not cool. I think I might have felt forced to lose that stability here because I got like a little bit scared of the tree. The line in the snow is probably 2 inches away from where the grooming stops. So that was a bit wild. So anyhow, you can see here how I'm kind of dropping into the turn. Boom, the right shoulder falls down, right? Ideally, I would have stayed in this position and simply, I don't know, maybe extended my knees a little bit to get the hip further down. I don't know. You tell me. And then here I'm on my arm, and yes, there's some weight on it, but still nothing crazy. You can see how much snow is still spraying there. And here I'm kind of catching it, actually. I get this pinch of the outside hip back. The spine is... I'm lifting that right shoulder up again here with that little bend in my spine. And then this is actually the last image. This one is the last image, unfortunately. And what you can see here is, it's actually pretty cool how my back knee is coming towards the front knee here, really like next to it. And all that does is really like I want to get this hip above the board. I want to stay stacked. I don't want this hip to be like flying around up here somewhere. So pushing this knee forward also brings the hip forward, and that means rotation, right? And with that rotation, I can then, by pinching the outside hip here, get this hip further to the snow and my upper body out of the snow or out of the turn. My inside shoulder, I want that out of the turn. So that's the last image. And overall, you can see that here really well, how I'm folding. Up until here, life is golden, and then I'm, boom, folding and getting too much weight into the inside. Yeah, anyhow, I think there's some cool little pointers in this thing, like how everything starts at the knees or at the feet, however, and where you should be looking, and what really makes you stand up from one turn to the other. Yeah, I don't know. I hope I can get another sequence like this that shows the opposite, getting from a toe turn onto the heels. Hopefully I can get another one of those. The physics of it are the same, but the movement is quite different. That's the unfairness between skiers and snowboarders. When we learn both turns, we literally learn two different turns. It's like the heels are so different from the toes. It's nuts. So I hope you got anything out of this. Just an attempt. Let me know whether that was helpful or whether that was total rubbish. And let me know what I can do better to stop making the few mistakes that you see in here. And hopefully, yeah, you can take something of this, improve your own turns, and dig some deep trenches. Subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell, share it with your friends if you like it, and definitely comment. I'm trying to answer pretty much everything, although that's getting pretty stressful right now. But yeah, comment and let me know what you think. Take care, everybody. See you out there. Bye-bye.